Hey everyone, I have a very exciting show for you today. I have someone I know and respect who I believe has the heart and intention to help people. Not only help people grow in, their business the last couple of years, but really help all of us understand what's going on, create a little bit of calm, set the vision for what's coming, and just get to tomorrow. So let's welcome Steve Trang to the show, host of Real Estate Disruptors. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, thank you for accepting this invitation on very, very short notice. I loved your Facebook post. I know you care about people and you have a big heart. So why don't you talk about the Facebook post? What kind of sparked you to put it out there into the world? And then we'll just get to talking.
I think just right now there's a lot of uncertainty, and I know that there have been a lot of people putting on shows, Facebook Live, Zooms, and so on. So like a lot of people are doing it. It's not just me.
Mhm.
But because everyone's doing Facebook Lives and Zooms and so on, I get a lot of replies or requests like, "Hey, can I get the replay?" and so on. And I figure, this post, I'm just leave this up all day. If you see it, I'm here to answer so that they don't feel like they're missing out because of the replay.
Yeah.
And so that was really the only difference. I think that a lot of leaders have done a great job. Jamie Woolley, RJ Bates, Don Costa, like uh, Jesse Brawl and Evo yesterday. Like a lot of people are putting out stuff to kind of to calm the nerves. But I figured, people were so nervous yesterday,
Yeah.
and so I just put that out there. And I was at home all day. I wasn't going anywhere, so put that
Very,
out there. Let people, respect the people, respond to people DMs and messages and so on.
that's very cool. So let's just have a discussion about some of the phone calls or DMs or message you've had. What if you were to put your finger on what you think the three greatest, I don't know if we want to call it fear, uncertainty, nervousness, what do you think are the top three?
Concerns.
So concerns. There you go. What are the top three concerns you're hearing so we can get them recorded and just create another spot where people can feel just a little bit better? What do you think they are?
So I would say the biggest are people still buying? Like who
Okay.
do I sell to? Because my audience is predominantly wholesalers.
Mm-hmm.
So the number one concern is, are people still buying?
Mm-hmm.
And B, if what should I be offering at?
Mm.
And the third one is, what should I do with my marketing?
Ah, okay.
Should I increase, stop, stay even? And that's a very, very custom answer.
Yeah, that is. So let's actually go through the three of them because I have thoughts on all three that may be different than yours. So
Yeah.
let's talk about buyers, right? Cash buyers, right? The exit for a wholesaler, right? The assignment fee, the check that they get. What are
hmm
you telling folks? And then I'll give you my answer.
I would tell them. Well, first, I can't speak for the buy and hold guys because
Yeah.
this whole no eviction thing is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
Um, but I could say for the flippers, they're reducing their purchase price as a percentage of ARV. And they have to because they don't know what the cost is going to be for them for the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
We could be in 2 weeks, perfect world, back to normal.
Yep.
Perfect world.
Could be.
Probably not going to happen, but let's just pretend it's perfect
Sure.
world, right? Well, then their costs didn't really go up that much as a
Mm-hmm.
flipper,
Yep.
but for sure their costs aren't going to go down,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so let's just say realistic, probably I would guess by my estimation, we slowed down a little bit as a market.
Mm-hmm.
And it's market value is not going to go down,
Mm.
but again, my estimation, but it's going to take a little longer to sell,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
right? So let's just say we're going to add 4 months to their whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And then absolute worst case, I think those guys are not your buyers. So don't even worry about them. Uh,
Yeah.
so as a flipper, then you got to look at a couple of things. Again, assuming the market doesn't go down, your holding costs have gone up.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, your holding costs go up. And let's just estimate that the average borrower flipper is paying 12% interest. I think that's
Yeah.
pretty fair, average rate.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's the case, then their costs just went up 3%.
Yeah.
Purchase,
Good point.
right? So you look at that. So at least right there, you got 3%. And then right now, what we're seeing, some rumblings, not a lot, but people that invest in the private money market are a little concerned. So they're
Mm-hmm.
pulling the capital out.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pulling their capital out. what happens is we have a little bit less liquidity, not a lot less,
Some, yeah.
but a little bit. And there's a little bit less liquidity, then the borrowing costs are going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
Either points or interest rates or LTV.
Mm-hmm.
One of those three is going to go up. So then again, a flipper has to look at that and make a business for their decision.
Sure.
And I know that like the biggest player in Phoenix is not raising their prices, right? Like they're still 8%.
Okay.
But I would say, as an investor, if my competition is going away, I have to raise prices just to be a fiduciary
Mm-hmm.
or steward
Yep.
of my client's money.
Yep.
Right. So even if you don't have to raise your prices,
Right.
that's just good business practice. It sucks, but it's good business practice.
Yeah.
So going again now, if your end buyer's prices, cost of business just went up, and then add an element of uncertainty,
Yeah.
I think that you got to be at least 10% lower as a flipper today.
Oh,
That's
for
my
sure. Yeah.
that's my belief. And if that's the case, then as a wholesaler, you need to be buying at 10% lower.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least, right?
Yeah.
10% lower on a lipstick job, maybe even 20% lower on a really rough
Exactly.
rehab,
Now you're talking.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at. And so I was talking to someone else about this, and they're like, well, what do you have to do that? I said, you better be better today at sales, which is something that we really focus on.
Yeah,
But
you do.
you got to be a lot better at sales and negotiation today than ever before, or at least since 2007, 2008.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I think everything you've said there is great. I want to just give you my opinion because again, I'm not a wholesaler, right? I'm the end buyer from wholesalers. So what I'm telling folks is again, in my market, I'm fairly well known. So this is what I tell folks. Let's just assume as of March 1st, before all this happened, the buyer pool in your market was 100. We're just baseline it at 100, right? All buyers. So in that all buyer pool, you have lots of different categories. First, you have owner occupant buyers, right? The people are getting 3.5% down, might be able to buy one of your lipsticks if it's cleaned out and painted or whatever. That portion is, in my opinion, gone for the next 60 to 90 days. They're scared, right? These folks are not likely going to be signing up for their largest purchase of their adult life in the next 60 to 90 days. So I think the owner occupant buyer is gone. Now that doesn't impact most wholesalers most of the time, but it's still a buyer pool that's not there. Next, you have people that have been flipping homes. And I think you need to break that down into folks that experienced '08 and the folks that have been doing it 5 years or less, right? If you've been doing this 5 years or less, you've been investing or flipping in homes in one of the best markets I have ever seen. And I have 20 years of real estate experience. So you need to be extra careful because you don't have the scars or likely know people who have deep, deep scars from the '08 crash because carrying cost, opportunity cost, buyers drying up all hurts. And if you're not ready for it, you're going to assume business is the same. You're going to buy that next thing from the wholesaler at yesterday's prices today, and you're going to be out of business in 6 months. That's just how it is. If you have the '08 experience, you have immediately, like by March 12th or March 15th, changed your business. You have probably taken inventory that could be lipstick and you've tried to sell it quick. You have, if you were in escrow on a heavy fixer and you had other fixers, you were probably getting out some way, somehow. Because this is about getting small. If you experienced '08 and it was painful as it should have been, you're getting smaller today as a flipper in my business. Then there's the buy and hold investor. People like me, right? 20 years experience, hundreds of units. We are getting hit hard with the threat of tenants not paying rent, right? That threat and fear is out there. We now, for the first time as of this morning or yesterday evening, starting to hear that, if we have a business interruption, that our mortgage lenders will be encouraged to work with us also. That's brand new information. Up to yesterday, there was talk just owner occupants. I think it's just a fluid situation, but I could tell you I closed a deal on Monday for a fixer that I have multiple exit strategies for. So I guess what I'm saying is there is going to be a small set of buyers that will take advantage of this and still do deals. We have our own money. We're not relying on private or hard money. We're still going to do deals. But as I've told anyone, I created a video like 3 days ago saying wholesalers wake up. because I was cheap before, Steve. I'm going to be effing cheap now,
Right.
right? Because I need to have
It should
multiple
be.
exits. Yeah.
Well, not just multiple exits, but you are in less supply today.
Yeah, exactly. So I can be, yeah, I'm going to keep buying. I have 2 transactions that will close probably next week. If escrow slows down, it might be the week after, but I'm still doing deals.
Yeah.
So, there are still buyers out there. So check with your buyers. Look, they are still out there. There will be people doing deals. I do think people that have been getting hard money at 12%, I'm hearing about deals being pulled last minute while they're in escrow. The
Because of the
money's,
lender.
yeah, because of the lender. Exactly. So you need to ask your buyers, is this your money? Is it hard money? Or is it private money because of some personal relationship maybe you built over time? I think you need to qualify your buyers today,
Yeah.
right?
I wanna add though,
Sure.
I'm not sure the 3.5% down buyer is going away because
Okay.
and this
That's
is
fair.
I've got two different legs, right? I've
Yes, you
got
do.
the wholesale legs and I got the traditional side.
Hmm.
And I'm constantly in touch with the number one lender in the state,
Yep.
number two title company in the state. Um, and then the lady that if you ever see my analysis on Facebook
I
about the
have.
market updates,
Yep.
Tina is the one that prepares that. I talked to her for 30 minutes yesterday,
Awesome.
and um, the we're not seeing anything slow down on this side today.
Yeah.
That's not to say that people aren't opening any won't buy any new houses.
Yeah.
I think that at least in Phoenix, right?
Sure.
There's so little supply. I mean, as of last week, before this, we were at like a month and a half of supply. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So a lot of Californians moving out here. Now that could be a problem because of your guys' lockdown. But people still need a place to live,
Sure.
and it's freaking cheap in Phoenix. So I have to say, a lot of my opinion is gonna be very Phoenix focused.
Sure. That's fine.
I think we're gonna be totally fine as far as the traditional side. Now, I've said before to some other people, I think Vegas is in a lot of trouble,
Oh,
and I think anyone that's dependent on oil until Saudi Arabia and Russia figure this out,
yep.
they're in trouble. Like, that's just I'm concerned,
Yeah.
not down, but I'm concerned
Yeah. No,
with the oil situation.
as we all should be. Let's talk about Phoenix and just the owner occupant market. Because first off, I watch every time you do a market update. I watch it. They're great. They're short. They're real data. You have real discussions. Here's my guess. Not only do I think owner occupants over the next 6 to 12 weeks get scared, I actually think your listings are going lower.
Oh, for
Right?
sure, inventory is going down.
Yeah.
For sure,
Right.
homeowners don't want people walking through the houses right now.
Yeah. Open houses are canceled for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. And there are people still holding open houses here, and it's crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't get that. So I think we're going to have a statistical anomaly, and then we will have a huge snapback. Listings are going to be down. If you were at 6 weeks, you could be easily at 4 weeks here in short order. I believe if you have owner occupants in escrow, I'm going to guess 70% close, 30% find a reason to back out.
We're still seeing a lot of closing. So
Good.
what's really interesting, this is a purely anecdotal data, right? This is not scientific. This is not empirical. But people that I've been talking to that have been flying,
Yeah.
like these flights are full, right? So at least up to last week, like beginning of last week, right?
All right. Yeah.
So the flights are full, and so my theory is, if you bought the airfare, you're flying.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
But you're not buying any more airfare, right? It's the opportunity cost.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But I already spent the money. I'm going to use it, but I'm not going to book any new flights. So as of last week and moving forward, the flights should be really empty. But up until Monday of last week, flights are still pretty full.
Okay.
Right. So I think that we're going to have an element of that where if you're in escrow, you're probably going to close. If you've been really looking hard, you might buy.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about buying, probably on hold.
Yeah, that's where I was just going to go. It's that I've been thinking about it, but you can wait, right? Do I need to upgrade today? Do I need to move to the closer school? Do I need? Well, you know what? I'm going to pause for 6 weeks.
It's not painful enough right now.
It's not painful enough. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think transactions, I think listings go down. I think transactions go down.
I think transactions will go down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay. That's exactly what I think. But here's the beauty of all this. Pick a time. Is it 8 weeks? Is it 10 weeks? Is it 12? No one knows, but we are going to have our gargantuan spring back once we just start to feel this all clear. It's going to be like never before. people are going to race. So that's pretty cool. So next question, we went through 3. That was all on the first one, buyers. The next one is, what should you be offering? Right? You've touched
Yeah.
a little bit on that. I think your answer was 10% for lipstick, 20% for fixers, because your buyer has to get it cheaper.
Hmm.
You know, I think that's great advice. I would, yeah, it's all about selling now, because again, this is so funny. So many people have been doing their business in rocking and rolling. They've had it almost assembly line driven, where they offer X, right? They do the whole ARV, cost this, cost that. You got to blow that up, right? You've got to
Yeah.
adjust some of that model, because today's different than March 10th, right? Pick your date. So,
Yeah. Well, whatever your formula was, right? Just add 10 to 20% of it. And that's really
yeah.
maybe 15%, but that's ultimately what it is.
Yeah. So I think that's the key, right? Is people don't run your business like it didn't change, because you could very quickly start seeing your conversion from locked up contract to check falling apart when you don't find that end buyer, right? Nobody makes money to lock up a contract. You get paid when the exit is made.
Right.
So buy smarter, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Now the elephant in the room, the one I'm going to love to hear your answer, because so many people need to hear it. Marketing. Do you continue marketing? Do you tweak marketing? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? So what is Mr. Steve Trang, host of Real Estate Disruptors, telling people?
So before we even start, you got to take in the context.
Okay.
I started in 2007.
Good point.
So as I got started, and I got started in the traditional side, right? I didn't really go really deep in the wholesale side in 2018. I was wholesaling since 2013, but I didn't really go deep until 2018.
Okay.
And so starting 2007, what did I see?
Yeah.
First, I had this amazing optimism that I was going to do amazing. I was going to crush it.
Of course.
Right. Confidence is not something I've ever lacked. So I came in expecting to crush it. What happened? I didn't crush it. In fact, for my 1040 in 2008, it was negative 50,000, meaning my expenses were 50,000 higher than my revenue.
Woof.
Okay, that was not a good year.
Not a good year.
But what did I learn here? I learned that a lot of realtors went out of business, and as a result of going out of business, they got divorced. I saw a lot of contractors go out of business, and as a result of going out of business, they got divorced.
Yeah.
Because all the fund money disappeared, right? For both sides.
Yeah.
And so that's something that's always been on my mind. And also, as I'm kind of learning this business, I worked with some cash buyers. Okay. People that did really well during that last recession, which I kept saying in my mind, I can't wait until the next recession. So honestly, a little bit, I'm kind of excited, which is terrible to say out loud. But I've been preparing for this moment this whole time.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And so what did I see? I saw cash buyers buy properties cash, run their business as cash.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I run everything this way, but that's what I saw did really well. And the guys that were buying properties cash were just buying more and more properties cash, because with their cash flow, they were able to buy a property every single month with their cash flow.
Exactly.
Right. And so that's kind of what has been seared into my brain. And so I knew this, but it took a long time to get to the position where I could run a business, anything like this. Now, I'm not a cash everything model.
Yeah.
I do have a couple properties paid off free and clear. Our house, our goal is to pay it off this year.
Awesome.
We bought it last year. Our goal is to pay it off this year.
Wow.
And I know it's very much against the grain. Most people hate it. But at the end of the day, my goal is to survive times like this. And so for me, I've been running, so it took me a long time to run a profit first model. So I got the book Profit First. I want to say probably 2017, around there.
Okay.
And I've been trying to figure out how to run that model for me. It took a really long time. It wasn't until last year that I finally got it set up, because it's a really different mindset. Okay. Running a high profitability business. And so with that being said, right now we have enough reserves where if we had zero income for 2 months, we'll be okay.
Nice.
With that, we're not changing a thing. I wouldn't say it's prudent to double your spending or, 10x your spending, a big Grant Cardone expression.
Yeah.
I don't think it's prudent to do that, because today you could get way more leads with the same exact number of spend. And the reason why is because everyone else who has been doing the grinding thing, which was me for a long time,
Sure.
was I'm not going to pay myself. I'm just put all the money back into the business. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a great mindset when you're starting, but not a mindset of a true business owner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a really high paying job at that point. And so, there are a lot of people that are putting it back into business, putting it back into business, putting it back into business. And then one day I'm going to get paid. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to get paid well.
Yeah.
And I had that mindset for a very, very long time.
Okay.
And what I learned was that one day I'm going to stop and just watch the money come in will never come.
Right.
Because we all have this. When I first got started in real estate, I had this vision of I'm going to take it easy on the beach. Everyone talks about Mai Tais. I love pina coladas. Okay. I love the drinks.
All
And
right.
so, just chilling on the beach, drinking pina coladas, right? And that's the vision
Yeah.
we all have when we get started. And something happens when you start, and that dream stays a dream.
Yeah.
And we never actually live the life that we planned when we started business. It's grind, grind, grind. Put every dollar back in the business. Let's get as big as possible. Let's crush the competition, and let's get huge, right? That's the mindset.
Sure.
And I don't think it's a bad mindset, but at some point you need to pay yourself. And if you've been waiting, and then this happened, I think you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So first off, would you recommend people check out Profit First? We got a lot of time on our hands. Would that be a book you highly recommend?
Amazing book.
Awesome.
Amazing book. Yeah. And I think if you're not into finances and QuickBooks, stuff like that, it's probably hard to hire a bookkeeper today. So I would definitely read that book. But even though I read that book twice, maybe 3 times, it wasn't until I hired a bookkeeper that I was able to get it all in order.
Okay.
Because you have to be responsible with your finances, go in there and monitoring all the time. And until I hired a bookkeeper, it was I'll do it this weekend. I'll do it this weekend.
Right.
I'll do it this weekend.
Right.
Once I hired a bookkeeper, now I'm excited to meet with her every Monday, 11 a.m. for an hour.
Wow. That's awesome.
Because I have 7 businesses that I manage, right? So meeting with her for an hour every Monday, and then Tuesday, 5 a.m., I just look at it for myself for an hour. I just go through all the P&Ls and all the balance sheets. Just make sure everything makes sense, right?
That's awesome.
And so, how many people have you met? And this whole totally unrelated, but how many stories have you heard? Is man, my guy's been stealing from me this whole time. I didn't even know.
It happens. Well, first off, I hear it a lot, and I bet you it happens even more than that.
Yeah, and so that will never happen with me.
Yeah, exactly. You got a microscope or a whatever, that magnifying glass, whatever it's called.
Exactly. And so if you don't have a bookkeeper, it's really hard because, going in your bank account, putting that stuff, logging it, it's boring. But if you have someone doing the awful work, now I feel I'm not like Scrooge, right? I'm not Scrooge McDuck.
No.
But that image of him swimming through the gold coins, you get to look at what you've got. You get to analyze it.
Yeah,
right?
and financial statements, when done correctly, there's a reason why the largest companies on the planet use income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement. And if you're running a business, and if you have 7 businesses in your case, you need to look at all those. You can't just be running a cash account and money come in, go out. Somebody will steal from you. You'll miss something. There's a reason why there's an income statement, cash flow statement, and balance sheet. Yeah, and you need to look at it. It's fun to look at them, right?
It's fun to look at them when it's done for you.
It's not fun to do the debits and credits. So I was a trained accountant coming out of school, so I know exactly what your bookkeeper is going through. So check out Profit First. Steve Trang recommends it. I'm going to be buying it on Amazon once this is done. So that's going to be cool. You've talked about mindset. A lot of the wholesalers I'm sure you deal with are, I'll call them small operators, for lack of a better term. They don't have 7 businesses like you. Let's talk to the wholesaler that's them and maybe their significant other, maybe one other partner, right? Maybe some VAs, maybe not. Let's just talk to that group.
Yeah.
What are you telling them today? Because I mean, no disrespect by this statement, but they're probably running on a shoestring, right?
Yeah, they are. And so that's a great point, right? So a lot of these guys are reaching out to me, and I'm asking them, how much do you have in reserves? If you have no income for the next 2 months, what are you doing?
Yes.
And if you have no income for the next 2 months, and you're out of business, then unfortunately you need to stop the marketing.
Yes.
Right. And you need to have difficult conversations with your staff. And I've been on multiple calls this week where the guys that have been through this say you need to look at your staff and see who you need and who you could get by without,
Yep.
right? And it's a very uncomfortable conversation. And the first time I heard that conversation, like, that sucks. That's terrible, right? And truth be told, there are some people in my operations that I need to take a good look at, right?
Yeah.
And we're having conversations with my business partners.
Of course.
So there's that. So that's not, we're not even talking marketing. We're talking about like
yeah.
staff, right?
Yeah.
So these are people that conversations and expenses that you need to really look at. And so I've had multiple conversations throughout the week with different groups. You know, I was in Gary Harper's group this week. It was amazing. Gary Harper runs an amazing operation.
Mhm.
And he was saying the same thing because he's been around for 20 years and he's helped CEOs of other companies ride these waves.
Yeah.
And he was saying it. And what I saw in a lot of people was they're hearing it, but it's so uncomfortable. I don't think it's making it inside their head. Like, I think it's going in one ear, out the other. And
yeah,
because it's so uncomfortable and we hate being uncomfortable. So when Gary mentioned it, I actually emphasized it again. Like, you guys need to hear this and understand it and let it resonate, because this is the oxygen mask, right? You can't take care of others if you don't take care of yourself.
that's
If
a
you're out of
perfect
business,
analogy. Yes.
if you're out of business, now instead of taking care of 1, 2 people or 5 or 10 people, now you can take care of 0 people if you're not making the tough decisions.
Yeah, and I want to sort of reiterate this for the flippers and the buy and hold folks as well, because you're not immune to this discussion. Again, I've been investing since 2003, and one of my greatest memories that still I can still feel the pain is I knew a flipper that was in the Bay Area where we have $1 million homes, it's very commonplace, who was worth $10 million, right? 8 figures. And frankly, he was arrogant. And he thought he could hold on and keep his flips going, and pretty soon his days on market extended, his hard money costs extended. He held on 3 or 4 months longer than he should have. Then the first one got let go, and then the second, the third, and he had to declare bankruptcy inside of 13 or 14 months. So sometimes you got to look in the mirror and not only have that hard conversation with people, but sometimes you need to look at your portfolio and go, you know what? I'm going to stop this flip now, or I'm not going to take this one on, and I'm going to sell it at a loss, right? I did a conversation with Pace yesterday, the day before, and he talked about having to write a $14,000 check to get out of a deal today instead of holding it and probably having a $50,000 loss later. So just because we're talking about wholesalers and head count and overhead and all of that, buy and hold people, you have a full-time job and you're okay. You should look at your business too, right? If you're in the buy and hold business, you got to have some hard decisions, and maybe there's some stuff you shouldn't close on, or you should rent different. This will impact everybody in every part of real estate, I think, at least from the short to medium term, I think.
Yeah, and I've actually talked to a couple of buy and hold guys, not buy and hold guys. I've talked to a couple of fix flip guys.
Yeah.
And their reputation is really critical, right? Like, the reason why they get the best deals is because they will close on all their deals. Like, they say, "Hey, Michael, I will buy it."
Yep.
It's a done deal. That money is in the bank.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to a couple of these guys, and I've talked to them, like, well, what's your plan? And they're like, I told them I'm going to buy it. I have to buy it. That's my reputation. That's how I run my business. And I know you're shaking your head, but that's what it takes in Phoenix, right? To win, to get the best deals.
Right.
And so, because, in a couple of weeks, when you're buying at 50, 60%, he's still getting the calls, right? And so,
okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, he has to look at it as that's his business model. And so, and what I told them is, and I've heard from other people, is like, look, I'm not saying you have to cancel.
Right.
Okay. What I recommend is you talk every wholesaler that you're under contract with and say, have a conversation with them. It's like, look, do me a solid. I'm not going to cancel on you.
Right.
Okay. I understand that, our relationship's really important. I'm not going to cancel on you. Do me a solid. Go talk to the homeowner and say, look, market's changed.
Right.
Price that we're committed to, we don't feel comfortable anymore.
Right.
Right. So just have that conversation with the homeowner, bring it down. So, because $10,000-$20,000, every dollar counts today.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's great advice. And yeah, when I was, you're right, because I was shaking my head when you started that story, but you're absolutely right. I bank on my reputation. That's why I'm closing the 2 deals that I locked up 3 weeks ago at the price that I agreed. I did exactly what you said. One of the deals is kind of skinny today. So I went to the wholesaler and said, hey, I'll close, but do me didn't use that language, but the same thing. Go back to the homeowner and see if you can find 10 grand, right?
Yeah.
I'll close no matter what, because my reputation matters and I close everything I get in escrow, but whew, it would help me out a lot, right? So,
Right. Like, and like you want me still be, do you want me to still be in business in a few weeks
yeah, exactly.
buying deals? Then you need to help me out.
Yeah. So I had that exact conversation. Totally agree with you. The other thing I would say is if you don't have the financial wherewithal, slow down, right?
Yeah.
Your hold time, as we said earlier, plan for your hold time, days on market, and credits from closing, from inspections. All this stuff is going to get different. So just budget differently. So I think that's great advice.
Yeah. So yeah, and just to wrap that up, right? Because we steered into the staff conversation.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the money to survive the next 2 months, then I would not be marketing. I would be doing all the free stuff, door knocking.
Exactly.
Well, maybe not door knocking today, but
Yeah.
all the cheaper stuff.
Yep.
And I would not be doing the expensive stuff today. So like we're still going hard with our marketing.
Yeah.
We haven't changed anything with our marketing.
Oh,
But
anything. Okay.
nothing. We've changed nothing because we've always ran a lean model. So I mean, our business, we ran a 45% profitability as a wholesaling operation. I don't know a lot of guys that are running that kind of profitability. Casey Ryan in Vegas runs it at 68%. But like every dollar that we make, we're keeping 45 cents as profit, right? Like I said, profit first. Okay.
Yeah.
So we intentionally
go get the book.
yeah. So we intentionally run lean. So like right now we're totally fine. However, we've had conversations like, look, if we're not locking deals up, which we locked up 2 contracts this week, if we're not locking up any more contracts, then we need to have a hard look at our cold callers.
Okay.
Right? Our cold callers, we have 5 of them in Mexico. Say, look, instead of 5, maybe we make do with 2 or 3. Right?
Yeah.
So even though we're not making any changes today because our financial reserves are okay.
Right.
If our revenue does go down, then we will reduce our expenses.
Profit first.
Exactly. And so I think a lot of the guys that if you get reserves, I wouldn't change anything because you're gonna get way more leads for the same amount of spend.
Yeah.
If you don't have 2 months reserves, then you need to start cutting your expenses, including marketing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let go of good people unless you have to, right? Let go of people that you've been like, you know what? I'm tired of babysitting them.
Yeah.
This is the time to let them go, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But the marketing, if you got 2 months, stick with it. If you don't, then you got to reduce it. Run it at a leaner model. Cut the lower ROI marketing first. Yeah. And you have to go to zero marketing and bootstrap it because it's really important that you survive because the guys that I believe I posted yesterday, I think there's going to be 50 to 75% of wholesalers out of business and they don't even know it yet.
I agree.
So things are going to get better.
I think 50% easily for wholesalers. I think you could say the same thing for flippers, especially if you've only been doing it 5 years. We're old sages in this. We can say this, but many of them aren't going to listen. But I'm glad this will be recorded because we can point to it saying we tried to help you.
Yeah, I'm fearful of the guy that's like 27-year-old me.
Yeah, yeah.
Was not a good listener.
Yeah,
I
remember.
Yes. I was you're not going to be able to do this, and my attitude always was, watch me.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about 27-year-old me who's overconfident.
There you go. I do want to ask one thing about marketing, not the spend. I'm curious if you've changed your messaging at all, right? Have you changed what's on the, because that's, 100%. See, that's a conversation. The message today, you have an opportunity to change your message. And I don't think enough people are talking about that.
Yeah. So, put your seatbelt on because we were talking about sales.
Yeah.
Right. So our message is very different and potentially frowned upon. So some of your listeners may not like this message. Right.
Go for it.
So let's do some role play. Okay. So you're the homeowner.
Okay.
All right. And let's just pretend you told me you wanted full market value. Okay.
Done.
So, hey, Michael. So given our conversation, it sounds like you want full market value.
Yeah. I want a fair price. I think that's a fair price.
That's perfect. And you have a realtor that you're going to be working with.
Oh, realtors, there's lots of realtors out there. Yeah. I'm sure I can find one.
But you got one that's the direction you're going to go.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, look, it makes sense. If I were in your position, I'd do the same thing too. So sounds like this is over. We're not going to be able to figure something out. We're not going to make a deal.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Hey, Michael, now that this is over, Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
You're not concerned at all about a bunch of strangers walking through your house right now.
Yeah, I've heard that this thing is carried by people and asymptomatic and all this other things. Yeah, I mean that's a concern. It's not really not mine, but it's my wife's concern.
Gotcha. And so, like, people walking through your house when you're not there, touching your stuff, going through your closet, maybe opening your refrigerator, that doesn't bother you.
Again, it bothers my wife. Yes.
Hmm. So then, does it still make sense for you guys to go with a realtor?
Oh, well, my realtor is telling me they can sell stuff with, FaceTimes, and they're going to take lots of pictures, and they're going to try to, they're not going to hold any open houses. So, the realtor's singing me a nice song today.
Yeah. And you're 100% confident that'll work.
Well, I can tell you the realtor is 100% confident it'll work.
Okay. What happens if it takes, I'm not saying it will, but what if it takes 4 to 6 months for your house to sell?
Wow. That's, that's crazy because I keep being told I'll have a contract in 2 weeks, but I hadn't thought about it taking 4 months.
You know what? Maybe it might, maybe it will. You've got a good house, maybe it will. But if it doesn't, and you've got 4 to 6 months of strangers walking through your house, does that okay?
No, no, that's not okay.
Okay. Are you uncomfortable right now?
No, no, I don't mind this
No,
conversation.
no, I'm saying for this role play. Like,
No, I
does
like
that
it.
make you?
No, I think I'm giving you what you want. I think, yeah, I'm good. This
Yeah,
is fun.
that's our conversation.
Ah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I got it. Sorry.
So that's that. We're adding that little wrinkle. Another one we're doing
So
is
hold on, just hold on. So that's the face to face, right? So that's how you've got the belly to belly. Maybe it's a phone
this is
call.
over the phone, just trying to book the
Ah,
appointment.
so this is, see, I misunderstood that. That is awesome. So that's a phone call conversation.
That's a phone call conversation. Now let's pretend we're face to face now, right?
Oh shit. Okay.
Okay, so let's pretend we're face to face now. And you've got 5 other offers because I can't imagine there'd be a lot of wholesalers out there, right? So let's just
Yeah.
pretend
Pretend. Yes.
you've got 5 other investors. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So, all right, hey Mike. So as I understand it, you've got 5 other wholesalers you're talking to that might be selling your house to.
I have 5 other buyers. I don't know what you mean by these wholesaler
Okay, yeah,
conversations.
5 other buyers. Okay, so you're talking to these investors. You got 5 potential buyers for your home. Let's just take me out of this operation or this equation because I could tell you right now I am never the highest bidder. So let's just
Okay.
remove me from this conversation.
Okay.
So of those 5, which one do you like the most?
I like the one with the biggest number.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Who, if you don't mind me asking, who would that be?
1, 2, 3. I don't know. Just somebody's name.
Okay, you know what? Guy's got a good reputation. You should go with that guy.
Ah. Okay. I feel better already.
All right, perfect. So I should leave. It sounds like this is not a good deal. This is not going to work for us. You've got your situation. This is not one of the houses I'm going to buy. Should we end this meeting?
Sounds like it. Yeah, you've helped me feel better about the buyer I wanted to go with the highest price. You've been a pleasure to deal with. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so before I go, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, of course.
When you asked him how long he's been in the business, what did he say?
I don't remember asking that question.
Okay, but you saw a proof of funds that show that he's going to have the money in 30 days.
I saw something that showed they had the money. Yes.
Okay, and you're not concerned at all that he might be out of business in 30 days.
I hadn't thought about that.
Okay, I mean, this is a really tough market right now. A lot of people are folding up shop. I don't suppose it's important to you that you work with someone that's actually survived a recession like this before.
I hadn't thought of that.
Okay, what happens if in 30 days your boxes are packed, you got your moving truck full, you're ready to go, you put your deposit for the next home, and this guy doesn't answer his phone?
That would be a bad day.
Okay, so it sounds like maybe money is not the most important thing to you.
Yeah, that now that you Yeah, having the U-Haul packed and the wife and the kids getting ready to go to new school. I can't afford 2 mortgages. So yeah, maybe the biggest number isn't the most important. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's what I would do. So that's what we're doing at our meetings.
That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, hopefully the guys are paying attention. Rewind this, watch that again. He's giving you 2 talk tracks, one for over the phone, which I'm guessing a lot more phone calls are going to be happening the next couple of
Yeah.
weeks. But eventually there will be belly to belly conversations again. And I like how you twisted it from price to reputation. That was
Yeah.
very, very well done. Very well done.
Yeah.
He's helping
So
you.
and
He's helping you learn. Go ahead.
this is the sales training that we do, right? So we already had this training with all our students for the last week and a half. You know,
Wow.
but this is something that's really important because you're going to buy deeper. This is what it takes.
Yeah. And again, I think this is going to be an evolving process. One of the things I could tell you, having been through the last crash, is pricing is sticky on the way down. It's called price elasticity. Sellers are stuck to yesterday's price, not tomorrow's price. So I would tell you to follow up with people more frequently because sellers, we're emotional or they're emotional and they're always stuck on yesterday's price. But at some point, it will be tomorrow's point, and you just never know when that happens, right? When they
You
go from
don't.
yesterday to tomorrow. Because when it becomes, oh my God, it's falling all the time, I need to sell now, you want to be the first person they see. So if you're following up every 2 weeks these days, I'd follow up every week. If you're following up every week, I'd follow up every 3 days. Again, in a low cost way. And again, do it in a friendly way, as I've seen Steve do over the years in his training. Hey, just checking on you. Everything okay? Do you need anything? Be a nice person. And I
Hmm.
think your reputation will expand and grow. Steve, anything else you want to say before we leave? And then please give a plug to how people can follow you, Real Estate Disruptors, and everything that you put out there. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. One thing I would say is that all the iBuyers are on hold, and I'm
Oh,
freaking
yeah.
ecstatic.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Open
we've been
door
waiting.
and all that. Yeah. Sorry.
We've been speculating that if in a recession they'd be badly wounded.
Oh, yeah.
And what are we seeing now? We have a probable recession, very
Yep.
likely having a recession. And what are these guys doing? They're on hold.
Yep.
So I think that's great.
Yes.
As far as how to get a hold of me, I mean, I've got the podcast, right? It's Real Estate Disruptors. That's free. It's on YouTube, it's on iTunes. And then to get a hold of me, I'm on Instagram at steve.trang. That's the best way to get a hold of me. steve.trang. That's the best way to get a hold of me.
Very cool, man. Again, I loved what you put out yesterday, the willingness to help people, use your network to help people. The fact that you accepted this interview in really less than 10 hours just goes to show that you really mean what you do. So I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. Much success, and stay healthy.
All right. Thank you, Michael.
Alrighty, buddy. Take care.